Hi, this is Bradley Sowash, jazz pianist and educator. And this improv tip of the month is called Downbeats and Backbeats and Offbeats, oh my. Do you tap your foot while you play music? Is it reflexive or something you do deliberately? Is that even allowed? Let's take a look at the advantages of teaching, practicing, and performing with deliberate foot percussion. We're going to look at this in 3 sets. First, we're going to look at how to set up foot percussion under your instrument. Then we're going to talk about how to use it deliberately and consciously. And then I'm going to show you some style-specific foot beats. So first, just getting a little sound under your instrument. Not everybody likes this idea. When I was in college, my classical piano teacher told me that I was not to tap my foot, which I enjoyed doing, having played a lot of rock and roll and jazz at that point. He said it was okay if I moved my big toe in my shoe, but I shouldn't make any sound. Then my jazz piano teacher said, you have to tap your foot and feel the groove and let it get into your body to make the music swing. And so I was, unclear what was right. And what I've learned is that there's a time and place for everything. So if you're playing groove-based music, right, you can feel that groove. It can really be enhanced both in your feel and in the listeners and to help students by adding a little percussion to that. So let's talk first of all about getting a boom sound, the imitation of a bass drum like this. So you can hear that I have under my foot a boom sound, or as the one half of a boom chick. So how do you do that? If you just want to get started with just that sound, you can use it, just as quarter notes or with a more syncopated beat. The way I first started to do that in my studio was I went down, the way I first started was I tried to get a bass drum under my instrument. And it was bulky and it just couldn't work it out. And so I went to a music store, and a lot of music stores will have these. And I found a drum they had there that was mismatched. It wasn't part of a drum set. In fact, they were using it to sell guitar straps and different inexpensive things. And they were using it like a bucket. And I said, I'd like to buy that. And they said, all right, well, $5. So I bought this for $5. And then I tuned it down with these tuners on the side here, and got it to a real low sound that sounded like a kettle drum, right? And so that's not very satisfying as a bass drum, but the trick is, if you don't know this, is you got to put a pillow or a rag in it. So if you just take this rag and stick it in there, then we get more of that rock and roll sound. It's not great, but it works if you're playing piano over it, right? And then you can just lie your microphone right on there, on that rag, and that will hook to your system or your keyboard if you have an input or something like that. And then to play it, you just want to you can find these in any music store, and certainly used ones. Don't spend much on it. Just get one of these, standard bass drum pedals. And so when you hit that, it'll hit the drum. And I used this for years, and it worked just fine. However, when I switched to teaching online in my online jazz piano classes, it was hard to get everything worked out with a microphone coming in and all that. It worked, but it wasn't really the sound that I was looking for to really come through the microphones. So I'll show you how I upgraded that a little bit. But if you just want to start with a boom sound, this is what I suggest. If you want to just think about boom and chick, boom, chick, boom, chick, you could kind of do all of those on just a piece of wood. Here's a piece of plywood. If you wear cowboy boots or high heels or some kind of clunky shoe, you can get that sound right on a board. That's a start. So if you play on carpet, get a board under your foot. And then when I used to play dance classes, I played a lot of dance classes, modern dance and ballet. And in the modern dance classes, it was helpful to have a little bit of percussion under my feet. So I came up with various strategies. At first, I just took an ordinary kid's tambourine and put that under my foot, just stepping on it on a piece of wood. And that works kind of. The problem with it is that it walks away. It doesn't kind of stay in place. And I was always pulling it back and everything. But if you have carpet, it might not wander so far. But if you have a tambourine sitting around, you can work with that. And you could stick a pencil under it to give it that rock, so it has something to pivot on. You'll find this all moves around and can be troublesome, but it's a start to get that boom chick sound. Let's listen to that boom chick sound that I'm talking about. So we've heard the boom. How about the chick? You hear that chick, right? Coming in there. Let's turn that up just a little bit. Okay. So in my dance classes, I decided that I needed something that wouldn't walk away, so I actually made this contraption. It's just the same thing, an old tambourine, and I put a spring on it so it would reset in between hits. And I really liked it because unlike a sideways tambourine, this gives me that chick sound, that stopped sound. I know they make different kinds of foot percussion, but they often set the jingles, these are the jingles, in the wrong direction. And then they rattle, and we just want that short sound. So this was my invention. You could do something similar if you like. It's just I don't know what the spring is, on a piece of metal, and then I made a place for my heel to sit because I found that over time that was more comfortable. So if you want to get do it yourselfy, you can come up with something like that. When I began to travel a lot, I made this to take with me to do my educational presentations. This is called a tambourine. I make these, and it has the 3 jingles set, like I said, in this position where we get that jingle that is a snap instead of a rattle. So that is slides over the foot, and you've got your sound right there. And if you do it on a piece of wood or something like that, it's going to click a little further. I like this because I can toss it into my gig bag and take it with me. And these are available on my website, bradleysowash.com, if you're interested in that. So then, and one other thing you can try, and I in dance class I used to hook a maraca to my foot with a rubber band and just strap it on like that, and I could keep a little sound there and try to be a one-man band. So there's some acoustic options for how you could get the chick sound, either in conjunction with the boom or by themselves. What I found is that when I taught online, I wanted more clarity in that sound to help my jazz piano students feel the beat. And so I worked with some folks at my favorite music store, which is Sweetwater. They're very good with technical questions, and they helped me try out a couple of things or think through a couple of things. At first, we looked at a stomp box, I guess you would call it, made by Roland. And they have various pads that can be set to different sounds, and you just kind of step on them. But they're kind of expensive, particularly because I would need 2 of them, one under each foot. And I also didn't like, as a drummer, that I couldn't figure out a way to hook a pedal to them. So they helped me find this novel solution here, which is a multi-pad made by a company called CAT, K-A-T. In fact, let's look under here. What's the actual name of this? The KTMP1. You can kind of hear that it has these pads on top. But what I use it for is to be the percussion sounds that are hooked to my feet. And it's actually running through this CAT multi-pad. And it's not very hard to hook up. What I did was use a little thing called it's called the Pintec RS5, if you want to be real specific. It's basically an external drum trigger, they call it. It's really simple. It's not a high-tech thing. It's just a little piezo mic with a adhesive on the back. And then on this side is a 1/4-inch output so that you can hook a patch cord to it, a standard guitar cable or instrument cable. And then that goes down to a foot pedal on the floor, and that foot pedal is hitting that microphone. In order to make it something to hit, I just have a piece of plywood here. It's nothing fancy, and a little contraption that I was able to find in a used music store to hold it up. These are used to hold up different kinds of percussion things, like this is a jam block. I can't play that with two hands here, but let's see. No, not really. Anyway, that's what it's designed to hold, or little things like that, a cowbell or a wood block or whatever. But I just put a piece of plywood on it, and then you can hear that the pedal triggers that by hitting that little microphone. And that's the same thing I have on the other side, under the foot, under the right foot. So together, boom, chick, boom, chick. So hopefully that gives you a start on setting up some foot percussion. There's a lot of advantages to it. It will definitely increase your groove to be more aware of how those beats lie if you're keeping some rhythm in your feet. I do just want to take a second here and invite you to check out my online jazz piano classes. They run 8 classes over 16 weeks through the academic year, and a lighter, shorter class in the summer. And we just have a real ball in there learning tunes like Summertime. And sometimes we learn rock and roll tunes. And so that would be something that you might want to look into if you're what I like to call, with a lot of respect, a recovering classical pianist who has always wanted to groove, and maybe you take that music off the stand. But let's get back to the number 2 now. We've already hit number 1, how to set up your foot percussion. Number 2 is how do you develop that conscious noise making in your feet? And it doesn't have to be that fancy. It's not like, oh, I'm not a drummer, I have no rhythm. It's really pretty easy. If you can walk, you can play foot percussion. Imagine just walking down the street and these are my feet. If this was my foot, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. That's how we walk. So you can start by just going right, left, with a boom under your right leg and a chick under your left leg. So that would sound like this. Just right, left. It's easy to do that because it's just every beat, and you can play, some easy tune to get used to doing both of those at the same time. And then what you want to do is see if you can make the chick play by itself. And the easy way to do that is to take your right foot off the sound maker. So I'm continuing to go right, left, but because my foot is now not on the pedal, right, left, left. And this could be really cool to give something with a hard groove a little extra swing. You hear that? It really just brings that swing, if you will, to the music. So after a while then, take your right foot away from making any sound at all and just feel that 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right foot is not moving. And the reason that we need to do that as pianists is that that's our pedaling foot, right? So if you're going to... If I'm going to have that pedal down, I need a foot to be able to do that. And there's other reasons to do it too. Sometimes just a chick is just enough without overplaying it. So why is the chick in the left foot? One answer is that pianists need their right foot to pedal. Another answer is that drummers play with their left foot on the hi-hat. So here's a hi-hat right here. And you would think this would be a good solution for your chick sound. You can buy one of these, probably used at a drum store or a music store. But it's big, it's bulky, and it doesn't really fit under the piano. So while it makes a nice sound, in fact, the authentic sound of 2 cymbals coming together, I play with my foot down here, and the top moves up and down, and you get that snap, shut sound. It just doesn't quite fit, and you end up doing like spreading your legs really far apart to reach it under the piano. It's way over here, and so it's not perfect, but that's the sound we're imitating with all these tambourines or tobarines or electronic foot percussion. There it is. You can hear that closing hi-hat sound. So that's how you develop the technique. Start by walking down the street, and then walk anyway, but take your right foot off the noisemaker, and then experiment with just playing the 2 and 4 in your left foot while you play your favorite music. So we've looked at how to set it up. We've looked at how to develop it. Now let's look at how to use it in a little bit more style-specific way. The easiest one is the one we just talked about. Walk down the street. Boom, chick, boom, chick, boom, chick, right? So we have, if you're playing, say, a rock tune, let's just do like a little boogie. Boom, chick, boom, chick, boom, chick, boom, chick, boom, chick. I'm just boom, chick, boom, chick. You see how that adds a lot. And then just to make it a little snazzier, and by the way, you can use this on almost any style, anything in 4/4. Let me go back a minute. You can do it on a polka, I don't know, a march, a ragtime. 1, 2, 3. You know, but you're going to do that in a concert, that's up to you, but it certainly is going to improve your groove. So if you're doing it in a rock setting, it's just kind of a neat trick to add one more note to it. So right now, if we're playing boom, chick, we're doing the booms on beats 1 and 3. So let's say this is the feet, 1 and 3, and then we're doing the chicks on the left foot. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It might look like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom, chick, boom, chick. If you want to just do a little tiny enhancement to that, you can stick in a little extra note here. We're going to make this like a dotted, or actually think of it as an 8. And then we're just going to extra note here. So boom, 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 chick. Boom, chick, boom, boom, chick. Boom, chick, boom, boom, chick. You can think of it as a dotted rhythm or a rest. And that will just add just a little bit of style to a rock feel. Boom, chick, boom, boom, chick. Boom, chick, boom, chick. So boom, chick, boom, boom, chick. Boom, chick, boom, boom, chick. So boom, chick, boom, boom. It's just kind of a neat little extra beat you can add to that. If you're doing a swing feel, you can play what's called 4 on the floor, where you play the booms on every beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then every other beat, the left foot joins it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alone or right, both. Right, both. Right, both. Right, both. Right, both. That's kind of the typical swing beat. Now, the old saying about the swing bass drum was to make it felt but not heard. So you want to give that kind of a light feel if you're pushing those quarter notes, especially at a quicker tempo. The last bit, we talked about downbeats and backbeats. Downbeats being the 1 and 3, backbeats being the 2 and 4. Let's take a minute and think about the offbeats. And this is something I'm still working on. Offbeats are all those ands, and it's pretty neat to hit those if you can. So I'm going to grab a tune out of my That's Jazz, Get Your Groove On. This is the performance book, and this is a tune called Reggae Nights. Now when it starts out, the student part goes like this. Okay, and the accompaniment part. So you hear that 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. The accompaniment part is actually imitating the chick of a snare drum. I'm sorry, of a hi-hat. Then later in the piece, the accompaniment gets a little bit busier and plays all the ands like this. Let's slow it down. And 3, and 4, and 1, and 1, and lots of and beats. So if you want to take this to a more advanced level, you can play around with playing all and beats. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Let's see. And so I'm still getting that together to make it more natural, which brings me to my last point. If you are doing foot percussion and either performing or teaching or whatever, don't sweat it so much. You're already worrying about your instrument. If things get backwards and you're playing the chicks on 1 and 3 and the booms on 2 and 4, it isn't really going to hurt your piece that much. Let's see. 1, 2. Trying to do it backwards. Yeah, you notice how it's a little kind of off, but it isn't really horrible. So I catch myself all the time kind of messing my feet up, and I just get back to the 1 and 3. So I would go boom, chick, chick, boom, chick, boom, chick, boom, chick, boom, whoops, and then just fix it, and I'm back on. And it's kind of fun for rest, too. I just thought of that. If your tune has one of those breaks. So it adds a lot of fun. And I'm going to wrap it up here. We've hit so far the how to set up your percussion, how to practice and make it more deliberate in how you play, and then how to apply it with a little bit more style to the various wide-ranging styles such as rock, classical, 4/4, and things like that. So thanks for spending a little time with me today, and until next time, you enjoy your creative music-making journey.